start recording. Hey, welcome back to the Alexandrian Codex. I'm Alex. This is Stellaris. This is modded Stellaris with Massive Soul System, the mod that I work on. Which is to say, my mod. Let's start out as the United Nations of Earth. They're humans. Actually, no. I'm gonna play as the United Terran Commonwealth. They're still humans. They still start out on Earth. I just named it Terra instead. There used to be a whole background story for this, but I deleted it. I think I lost the custom empire when transferring to my new PC. It doesn't matter. This is based off of the historic government of Earth from the Stars Without Number campaign that I run. Yeah, so we're a technocracy because research alternatives is real good. We're a mechanist because I like robots, and I always go for the cybernetic enlightenment path. What the hell is that one called? Whatever. You turn our people into robots. Egalitarian because it's nice. Xenophile because it's nice. Materialist because of the bonuses. This is just what humans are. Yeah. I personally like playing in huge-sized galaxies. That campaign would take about 1 million episodes, so let's not do that. Let's do a medium-sized galaxy, because this is the smallest you can get with a 4-spiral arm galaxy. No advanced AI. Habitable worlds, this is worth noting, it's only on 1 times. If you're playing with this mod, I kind of suggest keeping it to 1 times. Don't fuck with this too much. I only ever test this on 1 time, or 5 times is max? Yeah. 1 or 5. I don't test anything in between. With Apocalypse, the new tech tradition costs have appeared. Yeah, there's lots of cool new things. Truthfully, I haven't played a full campaign since Apocalypse came out. So, maybe this will be it. Probably not. I'd like for this to be it, but truth be told, as soon as I spot a bug, I'm gonna make a note of it and then break the save by fixing that bug once I'm done streaming. So this may be a one and done type deal. It might not. I hope it's not. Because I think all of the most important bugs I've already taken care of. At least in the March 1st, March 2nd releases. There's some more ideas I want to implement for later builds. I'm getting notebook out so I can write down bug notes as they pop up so I can implement changes later on. Ah, God, did not mean to hit escape there. Wow. I threw the notebook on the escape key. Well, we didn't want the intro anyway. We're on 201. I haven't updated to 202. Ah, that's what I meant to do. Well, let's take a tour of the solar system. Now, the planets are not linearly scaled. It's on a logarithmic scale, a scale that I came up with by myself. That's very similar to Stellaris' default planet sizes, with Jupiter, largest planet, and Terra, or Earth, which is your starting planet, which having this be size 16 minimally is pretty important. Having Jupiter be size 30 something is also pretty important. So these two were my starting numbers. I needed the mass of Jupiter, the radius of Jupiter, and the radius of Earth to somehow work out. At some point I'll copy the fucking scale in my math proof onto the mod page, but not today. Suffice it to say that it's not linearly scaled. The moon is not this big in comparison to Earth, but in order to work well with Stellaris, it does need to be about this big. The smallest thing, we can take a look at this here. The smallest thing in the solar system is going to be Ceres. How is this volume-wise? I'm gonna tweak this. Yeah, that better? Yeah. Yeah, let's try that. Smallest thing in the Sol system is gonna be Ceres. It's really a shame. You can probably tell by the weird kind of shimmering appearance that it has going on here. This is way too high resolution of a texture for such a tiny model. It's a very beautiful map that I have for Ceres, and no one ever notices it because Ceres doesn't get any deposits, and unless you're playing with other mods like the belt, it's never really noteworthy. Anyway, let's hop back in as the Terran Commonwealth. So all of these planets are that right there. That's not me. This is a Stellaris bug. This is not a bug from me. This is a Stellaris thing. I think. I'm fairly sure that this is Stellaris and not me because I've seen it in vanilla and I've seen it with other mods as well. I'm not taking responsibility for it just disappearing. The sun is way smaller than it should be. Even by the scale we have it here, the sun should be size... oh, like 400, something like that, something fucking ridiculous. 64. This should be size 64. Currently it's size 20. Size 64 would have it be, I don't know, about that big, and that's just... it's too much, man. It's too much. You can't get on a Stellaris map scale real size suns, real size planets, and real size distances without using logarithmic scales, without using rounded curve scales, because it don't fit. It don't fit. There's just not enough space out here. And the engine has some hard limits on how much distance is allowed in a given solar system, which you can tweak and get around, and I did do that in the past, but the tweaks made this wholly incompatible with many other mods I want it to be compatible with, so I did a version 2.0 rework. Yeah. So Sols, whatever. Mercury's, this isn't the prettiest texture by my standards. It's a hell of a lot prettier than what Stellaris has by default. I think by default Mercury just has the default barren planet. Venus, we've made Venus into a molten world rather than a toxic world. The real thing preventing us from going to Venus isn't that it's toxic so much as that it melts lead on the surface. Kind of a big deal. Venus isn't the prettiest thing. Because it's just kind of hot gas, and the photos we have of it are not really all that breathtaking. So this seems a little mottled. That's because it is MOTT LED. So the moon we have great photos of because, you know, we're real close. And we've sent so many low satellites here. I love how smooth the craters look on the moon, especially right here in the sunlight. The dark side of the moon isn't really a thing here because, well, Stellaris doesn't really let you control the orbits or lack of orbits. It would be phenomenal if I could have oval or elliptical, was that the right word? Orbits, not circular orbits, because ain't no solar system have circular orbits, but that's fine. Earth is, as often happens, off of its axis for whatever reason. This is summer in Antarctica, I guess. Yeah, this is... I think this is default Stellaris texture map. I don't remember. It's been such a long time since I implemented these changes. Here's Mars, you know, Mariner Valley, Olympus... You're not Olympus Mons. Are you? No. It's on the dark side? It's not this. This is Crater, I think. Yeah, that's a crater. Olympus Mons. Maybe it's on the backside. No, I thought it was pretty close to... whatever. It's very pretty. Again, we have a lot of satellites in Martian orbit, and it's close enough for us to point our telescopes at and get some pretty good images out of it, so Mars, very pretty. The belt, I looked at series earlier. Vesta and Hygeia don't have customs because Vesta and Hygeia are too small to become spheroid in shape. They're just weird, rocky, bulbous shapes like this. And these textures are a hell of a lot harder to make than sphere maps. So I have not done that. Next up at Jupiter. Jupiter, this is new. I think this is from the Horizons probe, or updated since the Horizons probe. Maybe there's not enough blue in here. This might be an out-of-date texture. It's still quite nice. Now Io, you're noticing hovering over Io, it's saying Jupiter. That's just because Io has such a close orbit that sometimes Jupiter forgets where it starts and stops. But if I click on Europa, I should be able to... Io. There. Io's been changed to a molten world. No, I think it in vanilla is molten, right? Yeah, anyway, Io is hella pretty. I've been considering playing with these orbits. They're ugly, frankly, but they're done this way so that these never intercept each other. They will never be inside of each other. I can be very sure of it this way. Yeah, Io's very pretty. Very, very pretty. It's a little weird seeing that the light source is emanating through Jupiter, but whatever, the physics engine is not something that I can mod. That might not be true. I may be able to do that, but not easily, and I wouldn't know where the fuck I'm starting. Europa, quite pretty. Europa is a little lower resolution than I like, but just the images are. Next up is... That's not Ganymede. This is... That's Callisto. Damn it. Come on, Alex. You should recognize these. Yeah, Ganymede's kind of dull looking, but... yeah, there you go. That looks about right now. Ganymede's a little dull looking. Again, by scale, these are tiny, tiny, tiny in comparison to Jupiter. Like, maybe the size of the mouse cursor in comparison to Jupiter. At biggest. Probably more like the G in Gas Giant in relation to Jupiter. They're teeny, but if they were that small, you wouldn't be able to see them in these 4K or 8K textures. Would be going to complete waste. And they'd be, more importantly than that, they'd be really hard to click on if you're not zoomed all the way in. And most of the time when you're playing Stellaris, you're not zoomed in this closely. Next up, we have Callisto. Callisto's fucking gorgeous. It's weird as hell, but just gorgeous. Now, if you have a keen eye, you can probably see where the texture maps have been sewn together. Some are more obvious than others. But not all of them are that obvious. Moving on. Saturn. See, again, Saturn has this weird spiral thing going on with its planets, just to make sure, or its moons, just to make sure they never clip into each other. Saturn has very smooth textures. It has this telltale hexagon that it actually has on its pole. Yeah, Saturn's very pretty. The rings are unfortunately not Saturn's rings, they're just rings. It'd be really cool if we could modify in different ring sets or different asteroid belts, but to my knowledge, Stellaris does not allow that, not easily. Early on in the development of this mod, I was wanting to implement more asteroid belts because the asteroid belt really has like an inner component, a middle component, and a couple of outer components. And more so than that, there's also like the Kuiper belt out here, which is a much larger asteroid belt, and I thought that would make a good, border for terminating the solar system. But unfortunately, the sector files, or the system files, the star files, don't allow more than one asteroid belt. If you assign more than one, only one will spawn, and it doesn't give an error or anything, it doesn't crash or anything, but for whatever reason, it's a hard limit of one per system. Yeah. Saturn's moons are again close enough, and we've sent enough missions there that we have pretty good images of them. a little worse than Jupiter in terms of resolution, and well, you can see where things have been stitched together a little bit. Enceladus is fucking gorgeous. Enceladus is nowhere near this big. Enceladus is tiny, but the geysers and just this icy blue of ice is just beautiful. Tethys, pretty. Yellow like this on Tethys isn't necessarily yellow. It's probably darker in color, but this is just a consequence of artificially coloring maps that we get. If you look closely at... oh god damn it, I lost it. I lost the little beautiful bastard. If you looked closely at Ceres, and I'm amazed that I found that dot, you'll see like the yellow here at the pole, and yellow here at the other pole. It's not that the poles are bright yellow. It's just that's a consequence of the photography used to capture those images and convert them into texture maps. Yeah, Dione, again, pretty, has some yellowing on the backside. Rhea is just destroying the rings here, and there's nothing I can do about that. Again, you get the yellow artifacting here. Well, it's not artifacting, yellow quality a little bit. Titan is just... well, it's very pretty in its own way. It's pretty a lot in the same ways that, like, Venus is pretty, but, like, look at this. It's just very... very mute in color. Titan has a very thick atmosphere, so it looks like this. Underneath the atmosphere, it's quite pretty, but we can't see under there. Hyperion, if you have a clever eye here, you'll know it has the cold, barren world texture with textures that we actually have of Hyperion just stacked on top of it and merged down. So it looks fine if you don't know what Hyperion looks like, and I start using that technique a lot more as we go to Uranus and Neptune on those moons, because our photos of those moons are kind of non-existent and not beautiful. Aegyptus here is just goddamn gorgeous. This is another one that we've gotten some recent very good photography, but again, you can see the scene here of where the high definition photography was and where they were only able to capture it further away with less accurate tools. But again, you're never in that close, so it doesn't really matter. Phoebe, gorgeous, exact same tool set that I was talking about before. This is a default map with some changes made to it, a texture map from Phoebe itself labeled on top, layered on top, but doesn't really come across. Uranus, quite pretty. Miranda actually gets some interesting color. I like Miranda quite a bit. Making Miranda's texture was a pain in the ass because it's basically just the southern hemisphere of Miranda that's a real world map. The northern hemisphere is not. That was a huge pain in the ass to try to smooth out. Here again in Titania, you can see the exact same case. You can almost see the line. Well, actually, you can clearly see the line of like, oh, this is a picture of a planet, and this is just a default map from the game. Ariel, very little of this is unique. Oberon, again, it's the southern hemisphere. Umbriel, again, southern hemisphere. And trust me, I would be delighted to have better textures on here. They don't exist. NASA doesn't have them. No one has them because we've only sent a few satellites out this far, and it's pretty old technology. Cameras aren't that great anymore. The photos we got are not that good. So if you want better textures in Stellaris, go fund your local aeronautics or space program. Neptune's gorgeous. Again, lower resolution just because it's been a long time since we've been out to Neptune. Been a very long time. Nereid, again, same approach I was talking about before. Triton, however, Triton, we actually have some decent, new-ish images of, or at least high-res enough images to put this together. Now, these lines are just artifacts from the transfer process. Triton, I need to go in and clean up a little bit, but I've been putting it off because not a lot of people spend a long time zoomed in on Triton itself. Proteus, Now, the resources of Sol are fixed. These don't vary from game to game. 33222 is average or slightly above average in terms of your Empire start locations access resources, so that's why I went with those numbers. I used to have the Sol system being very, very overpowered because it was intended that a player play this in combination with Pode's primitive start mod, where you start out without faster than light travel, and a lot of what you're doing is just building habitats in your home system and stuff like that. But I've since cut the segments of this mod that let you turn asteroids into habitats, and so I figured I should tone everything else down as well. Now let's look at what we have here. I like you, I like you, I like you, I guess. So if you couldn't tell by, I'm ticking this up to fastest, by my build, I really like small, technologically advanced empires for a very long period of time before expanding. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing today. Now, normally when I test this mod, I just hop in, turn on observe, check out, make sure all the starts are okay, go system by system, make sure none of the planets are looking weird or orbiting inside of each other. This is a new thing. So, in Apocalypse, this icon was added. Environmental hazards were added. Now, environmental hazards in vanilla Stellaris only apply to black holes, neutron stars, and pulsars. Which, by the way, the fact that neutron stars and pulsars are both in this game as if they're different things really pisses me off. Pulsars are just a type of neutron stars. It's like, a square is a rectangle type deal. So, weird. There's so many other interesting things, like nebulas, like interactable, visitable nebula, whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool that they introduced it, but lame that they only limited it to those three, and the effects they put on them didn't really make that much sense. And if you look at older games, like who did I research? Sins of a Solar Empire did a fucking great job of having every star have different qualities to it. This mod won't go that far. I might make a mod in the future that goes that far, but not these. Basically, Bernard star is a Class M star. Class M stars in relationship to Class G stars, like our Sun, are much less massive, much longer lived, and let off much less radiation. So, because it's less massive, ships will move faster here, you can disengage from combat, and you can evade more easily here. It's a lighter or shallower gravity well, so yeah, I mean, gravity's not that strong, but you want there to be some kind of diversity. Now, these modifiers might be too big, and we'll play with that, we'll tone it in. Daily shield regen plus 50% is because of the low ambient radiation here, and yeah, eventually I'm gonna add tooltips that explain why I give these bonuses, so you won't have to like read the readme to know why. But low ambient radiation, not interfering with the shields, yeah. Now on the flip side,
System scan complete.
Things that have
Construction online.
Oh god, alright. VO, you gotta go. There we go. Systems that have more dense stars, like Class A or Class B. Class B, by the way, you are very unlikely to see in this mod because they're like, they make up 1/1000th of all stars, And this is not 1,000 stars, so you're really not likely to see them. You're likely to see 80-something% Class M, and then everything else mixed in. But in this mod, as in reality, Class M stars are the majority. So the majority of stars you go to are going to have these very nice bonuses. Some won't, though. Now, I assign these deposits kind of arbitrarily. The Mercury has a lot of valuable resources that could be utilized in colonization. Venus does, but they're harder to get to. Mars does, and because it's the subject of so many colonization efforts right now, and because Mars is my favorite planet, besides Earth probably, I gave it a deposit. The moon should have a deposit more than Mars should, but having it right here just gets kind of crowded in terms of the mining stations, and so for aesthetics I've switched that up a little bit. Europa has frozen oceans on it. Society research arguably can be used for researching biology and stuff like that. So Europa is one of the first subsurface oceans we found in the solar system. That and Enceladus. Enceladus? Yeah, Enceladus. And, well, the Jovian system needed something, so Europa. The Saturn system needed something, so Titan. Titan has a lot of hydrocarbons, and it's a really, really energy-dense place. All these other moons are really noteworthy in their own respects, and initially I had deposits on everything specialized toward what that moon or planet will get, but it's just too resource dense. Uranus, engineering, I don't know. I can't really justify this one as well as anything else. Uranus system needed one, and I needed to give her an engineering deposit somewhere, so there you go. Neptune. Neptune, the physics deposit actually makes sense. The winds on Neptune are some of the strongest and fastest
Scan complete.
in the solar system, if not the strongest and fastest. So storms there have been some of the fastest and most intense on record anywhere. So, physics. I mean, it doesn't really teach us very much new about physics, but it's an interesting test subject for that sort of deal. Yeah. So Barnard Star is customized. There are no planets here because Barnard Star does not, to our knowledge, have any planets. Alpha Centauri has a minimum of 0, a maximum of 4 planets. Very unlikely to get a habitable planet here, but I think it's still possible. In an older version, it used to still be possible. Alpha Centauri is actually a trinary system. You have Alpha Centauri A, Alpha Centauri B, and Proxima Centauri. The scale here, Proxima can't realistically fit in here, though I'm kind of tempted to add Proxima anyway, just because it looked cool with the trinary system. The planets that they likely have are outside of their each star's respective habitable zones, so it's not likely that any planets in Alpha Centauri will be habitable, unfortunately. Now, that's not to say that they absolutely won't be habitable, just that they're less likely to be. Okay, let's actually play the game a little bit here. Vinjim is a randomized system. Let's look how pretty this looks. Not really. Vinjim is not one of our winners. We have an ocean world, which is cool. That's an okay moon. You've got a couple of moons. Yeah, okay, no gas giants with small systems of moons. This is very typical. It's kind of boring in many respects, but honestly, most star systems will be out there. At least as far as we can tell. Now, I talk about this every time. This seems weird. This seems weird, and that seems weird. I've talked about this before. The reason that the solar system seems to be the most densely populated solar system, or star system out there, is because, well, we live here. Our telemetry of our star system is so much better than anything we can get on anyone else. So, it only makes sense that we would assume from the data that we have the most planets. But as better and better satellites are being put up, more and more data is coming in, it's giving us a better idea of how many planets, on average, different types of stars in different parts of the universe will have. So I have my metrics somewhere between 3 and 5 planets being average for each star system, which, to my knowledge, is accurate of
Evading hostiles.
Stars that we know about. Ooh, oh, well, here we go. This is a amoeba home system. Is it an amoeba home system, or are you just visiting? Hard to tell. But, no. Oh, continental world, is this big enough? No, that's not worth colonizing at all. Okay, well, I am fine with leaving Alpha Hydri the hell alone. Let's go explore that. Erasmidon. Oh, this is a shame. In the test game I just got finished. Son of a bitch. I hate this. Okay, because the size of gas giants, or planets, are randomized all the time, sometimes the game rolls really, really high on how big a gas giant is going to be, and really, really high on how big its closest moon is going to be. Then it also randomly rolls on how close or far apart it will orbit, and sometimes it just rolls really, really low on that value too, and this happens. This happens in vanilla Stellaris, rarely, very rarely, but it does happen, and it happens in real space in just about every other mod that attempts to do the same sort of thing that I'm doing. Playing with planetary systems at all, it's just par for the course. Oh, thank God. I thought she got Arrested Development. Mummified Pilot. Not an amazing thing to get, but it's fine. I'm doing such a half-assed job at building robots and replacing people. What? These last two need to be robots, right? Yeah, one of them does. Because we need a robot here, which I got here. I need a robot here, which I need to build, so...
System scan.
Build me a robot. Wow, we are in a really awkward starting position. There's an ocean world here we could colonize at size 20, which is pretty nice. It's not really our cup of tea, as in it's not a continental world, but if pressed, we can make do. Just gonna have all these surveyed. Let's take a closer look at Vinjin. So, okay. The habitable zone in default Stellaris is something between 10 distance to 100 distance, something about the size that I'm selecting here. 10 out from the star would be something like this, 100 would be something like this. I've cut the habitable zone down to 60. And I've been considering cutting it down to 40. Now, of course, the habitable zone varies from star to star, but the code of Stellaris does not allow you to have it vary. Habitable zone is a defined value in one file that you have to set as between two arbitrary values. Alright, sweet. Okay, well, I'm happy that happened. So the Cybrex are just, in my opinion, the best precursors to get. If I'm playing off screen by myself and I get precursors that aren't the Cybrex, I mostly just restart. I sometimes play with mods that enable all precursors, but I'm glad we got them because they're a hell of a lot cooler than any of the other factions. Alright, clear that. Give me new research. Growth speed, I want. I don't actually care about the growth speed because... You wanna fuck off? No, it's cool. I didn't want to explore this size 24 beautiful ocean world or anything like that. No, it's cool. I'll leave. Dicks. Alright. Honestly, can I change your... There we go, passive. Just go here and avoid it. I'll micro a little bit to make sure they don't die. Here. Survey that. Survey that. Survey that and that. And you should be far enough away from the amiibos to be fine. What are you sitting around? A gas giant. Yeah, they do feed on gas giants. Hold up. You'll go here. You'll go here. I'm not actually assigning them there. I see the food thing. Don't worry. You're gonna go there. You're gonna go there. And that last one will be human too. Yeah. Yeah. This is all correct. Okay, good. Good. Let's build those research stations. And then we can get to building planetary infrastructure. Yeah, research that. Weird wiggles.
New technology discovered.
Engineering facility, nothing amazing. Let's make better robots. You know, I've never actually stayed close to the space amoeba for very long. The sounds are pretty good. Ah. Good. Just leave. Alright, cool. Not letting space amoebas chase me out of another fucking star system. Especially one that I actually want. So we're gonna have to build outposts out here. There's a size 20 ocean world here, size 24 ocean world. That's very, very good. Again, it's gonna take me fucking forever to actually colonize them, but, well, they're there. Research speed is dope. Science ship. Alright, can you? Nah, of course you can. Survey this. Survey that. Survey that. Survey that. You're gonna run into something aggressive. Switch over to evasive, just so you don't fly into something and die. In particular, when it comes to the creature, it spawns at black holes. No, I can't remember what it's called. That will pick off science ships like nothing else. Well, this seems to be inhabited. We're gonna have to hurry this up a little bit. Uruk. Charming name. Well, they seem to be surveying this system. How the fuck are you surveying this system, but you already have space stations here?
System surveyed.
Explain to me how the hell you built an outpost before... I'm fairly sure that as a player... Ooh, damn! Arrakis 2 is an ocean world? I don't know, man. That's kind of weird for Arrakis. Arrakis being the name of the planet from Dune. Yeah, New Worlds. Ah, this is a good system that I'm not going to have access to because this is probably already claimed. Well, no, this is definitely already claimed. None of those looked like space stations to me, but you can't have something in orbit unless you have a space station, so... God damn it. It's beautiful and I hate it. I hate it because I can't have it. Oh, well, we'll give Mirak and we'll get Vinjun. So this will still be a very good start. A species of ice and ice. I'm sure I've seen that before. Ah, United Belmacosa Hierarchy. Yup, that'd be you. Okay, you're fanatic materialists. We will get along fine. This is a momentous occasion. Yup, non-aggression pact. Now for the annoying part of the game. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if, like... cool. Alright, you're reasonable. Communications and research deal. The AI, I feel like, expands their outposts a hell of a lot faster than I'm in the habit of doing. Well, our borders aren't closed, so I could theoretically build up outposts around this way as well. The real question is how much I can afford that, but Arrakis 2 is fucking amazing. What kind of planets do you like? Desert world. So you're, like, not at all interested in anything there, right? Okay, they might not expand there. To wait, god damn it. Oh, right. Need to change one thing. So I hate this. I hate that these are on auto best by default because I think that the game builds ships like duty. Just like absolute crap. That one's not bad. But I do not trust the AI to auto-build ships for me. Our fleet needs to be 8 times better. It's not going to be able to pull that off. Resilience, great. Going to make you more long-lived. So you're going to go from down here to... Vinjam doesn't have any gas giants. So they might just bounce back. And it looked to me as if they were leaving the system. Let's find out. You're just assigned here. Do I assign you a leader? Yeah, abandoned amusement park. That's actually really good. Sublight speed. I like aggressive. Scouts. Faster. I really value speed just because I'm an impatient person. No more precursor artifacts though. I swear the ease of finding those has gone down. Then again, it's not as bad as it used to be. In vanilla Stellaris, it was very, very hard. God damn it, they're just chilling here. What? That's a gas giant. 27 days? Ah, you are not living. Oh, you might. Didn't lose any. Totally did that on purpose.
New technology discovered.
Build mining stations in Vinjam. Grow speed didn't give me what I wanted. Gene Clinic. Wait, Gene Clinic or Heritage Site? Gene Clinic. Oh yeah, definitely replace that boy. That goes and replaces this. This goes and replaces this. And that's good. That's good. Should actually build some useful buildings in here rather than just letting it go idle. Or Pharaoh, I suppose. It's hardly idling.
System scan complete.
Procyon is another custom one. Procyon has Class A stars. Class A stars. Oh, you can see the difference here. Class F stars have some serious reductions. Class B stars have some serious reductions. Now, what I'm not sure is because I can't hover over anything here in this ship and see its current value for speed, I can't tell if the game is just taking the highest penalty of these two, or if they're combining the penalties. If they're combining the penalties, that makes binary and trinary systems hell, or overpowered as hell, depending on the case. But because the game doesn't let you see individual unit stats unless you have shields or something like that, which I could check. Yeah.
Discovered.
It's just something I'm gonna have to play test and play test and play test to find out. I haven't upgraded this at all. Give me a trading hub, and I want to replace this with Off-world trading company, I think. Hydroponics Bay isn't that bad either, but we're building a bunch of fucking robots, so we don't need off-world anything. You get off of there. You can go over there. There we go. And you switch out there. Yeah.
Construction online.
I was doing some micromanaging there that was not necessary or probably productive.
Construction online.
Yeah, sure. Upgrade these boys. Beautiful. Let's go into Fleet Manager. This should be that. It's not going to be that because I cannot afford that. But we'll go ahead and model that in. Build me mining networks. I don't think I'm going to need all that food. Research alternatives. Excellent.
Construction online.
Why don't you go check that out? If they're still there, it's fine. It's annoying, but it's fine. If they're not still there, that's beautiful. Okay, go explore that bulb. I should probably know, yep, by now, how long amoebas feed at a certain location. I've never timed it. This game has been out, what, 2 years almost? And I've never timed it. Faction founded. Give me that sweet influence.
Construction online.
I'm researching what I want to put there right now, so I'm not going to build anything. Let's start reinforcing this fleet, because I'm going to need to sooner than later.
Construction
They're done. Yep. Go to Mirok. They're probably here. If they are, you'll evade and pop back.
Construction online.
And I hate it. Oh, sweet, they're not. Okay, so go build something here to claim this beautiful, beautiful ocean world. Size 24, mine. All mine.
Construction online. Anomaly
Ooh.
detected.
Ooh, here we go. Here's one of the giant, Oh, wow, yeah, this is as big as gas giant systems can get in my mod. So gas giants by default have a maximum of 2 or 4 moons, something really small like that. In massive solar system, they can have as many as 10. So you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this looks gorgeous. Of course, you know, it's eating up a lot of this orbit, and it almost, if you have two too close together, they can intermix their moon systems and look really weird. But basically this spawns a number of moons in between 0 and 10. Now unfortunately this one's too far away, but if you get very lucky and get a big system right on the cusp of the habitable zone, all of these can be colonizable. It's very, very rare for that to happen, but those systems are incredibly cool when they do happen.
New technology discovered.
Yup, modification points that I'm not gonna use. Let's get better Corvette HP, because I'm probably gonna have to deal with those amoeba at some.
Initiating evasive maneuvers.
Speak of the devil. Da 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 da. Ba 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 da ba 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 da 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 da. Do 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 do. Oof. Let's build some defense platforms. Defense platforms on their own won't do, well, they won't do very much at all,
Detected.
but they're better than nothing. Defending against amoebas is not how I imagined this campaign going when I started. It's fine. The exile. Is there any reason to hire the exile? They're not. They're just a free leader. And this used to be kind of something you consider back when influence was used for more things, but, well, used to hire leaders, but now that leaders just cost energy to hire, this seems like, oh, would you rather have something worth 200 energy, or would you have that much in science? Obvious answer. Cold and empty, yeah.
Construction online.
I don't think it's actually necessary for me to build a whole bunch of defense platforms here, but you never know. I want Marak. I want Arrakis. It'll be fine if we don't get them. I should probably have a second science ship up at this point. Gene Clinic, there we go. Off-road trading company I kind of want. Our energy credits are getting low, so let's do that. Let's get you that Gene Clinic.
System scan complete.
Ooh. Akram has some good resources. And none of these had any deposits on them. Of course not. The entire appeal of having bigger moon systems is the potential for more deposits, right? But nope, apparently not. Fusion reactors, dope. I like these. Ship designer, defense platform. Giving you this really won't do much for you. Giving you this won't do much for you. But, you know, all the same, there you go. I'd like Arrakis, Mirak, and... I don't know. Presumably I'll want to expand over here, but I'm not seeing anything that actually excites me yet. So let's just hold off on that. One more month till second defense platform. Now these defense platforms are not amazing, and truthfully I don't expect them to take out the amoebas. I just want them to help our fleet take out the amoebas.
Construction online.
Boom. Leader experience gain goes up. Now would be a good time to hire more. Right. Well, this doesn't matter, but let's do that. Have you do this mission for the potential experience, because the deposit shouldn't matter here, because we can't colonize this planet.
Construction online.
Find out, though.
Research project concluded.
Oh. That is a very nice deposit. Never mind. I thought that the deposit used to... Maybe it was glitched at some point in the far past. The mod takes the Sol system and fixes the scale of planets in relation to each other in terms of distance. It's a lot easier to see if you have like a side-to-side comparison. It adds new textures to every object in the solar system, 4K or 8K textures as available. It changes the scale of planetary sizes in relation to each other. It changes the size of suns in relations to planets. It changes the way that planets spawn, the number of planets that are allowed to spawn, if moons are allowed to spawn or not. It lets planetary systems like this spawn. I was just saying in default Stellaris it maxes out at like 2 or 4 moons. This has 10 total. It does a lot of things. It's basically a complete overhaul of planetary spawning mechanics to be more in line with reality. The main complaint I have about my mod, which is a hilarious thing to hold against it, is that it's unbalanced. Because reality is unbalanced. There's been a few very good mods in the vein of mine that have come out since, 1.0 came out year and a half ago. 1.0, my mod came out a year and a half ago, but most of them keep things very balanced with how Stellaris balances things, which in my mind is kind of boring. I find immersion to be necessary for good fun. For me, anyway. Not as a blanket statement, just for me. Alright, and watch this be completely unnecessary. Let's go check out Mirak.
Anomaly detected.
Dope. So a lot of what I'm checking is, are orbits looking okay? Are planets spawning inside of each other? Are the different orbits of planets looking believable or pretty?
Construction online.
It's not really in anyone's favor, the balance changes. Like, the imbalance, yeah, totally depends on where you spawn. Like, Here, let's hop into this. So I spawned in a starting system with a total of 3 energy, 3 minerals, and 2 of each kind of science. If we take a look at... You're a Fallen Empire, aren't you? Yeah, bad example. You might not be. Right? You're not a Fallen Empire, right? Right? You a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop. Yeah, I don't think you're a cop. Let's check out this system, make sure I'm right. Yeah. Okay. Alvis here is 5522. Some of these starts are a lot better than others, and it's just random luck at the draw. Because space is random luck at the draw. Some stars, like pulsars, are very unpleasant to be around. They slow you down a lot. Well, that's not a lot. Right, I cut all the numbers in half to make it more bearable. Yeah. It's balanced in that it's not a level playing field for anyone. It's unbalanced in the sense that Stellaris tried really, really fucking hard to make a level playing field, like to the point where your home system and the 2 or 3 neighbors of that home system are hard-coded to have the exact same things in them every single time. Which I think is boring, so I changed that. Because I'm like, oh hey, how convenient, then the next system over, there's 2 habitable planets. Yeah, weird. Weird how that happens.
New technology discovered.
I think it's kind of cool to have... This shouldn't be that much of a conundrum. To have starts that are like really, really good. Fuck yeah, you're an awesome neighbor. Yeah. Thank you. Stupid AI spending. So, the AI have a fleet this big because the AI overspends on military expenditure. Like, they build big fleets really early on, which slows their development of their own territory. Then again, they're bigger than I am. Size is actually a problem now. Size used to not matter and used to just be universally good, but now, number of systems, for every system you have outside of your starting system, the percentage price of traditions and research goes up by 2%. Which I get it, but I hate it. The whole point of blobbing is to get more access to resources, and then penalizing the player for doing that. It's just raining on my parade a little bit. You are set on evasive. Well, yeah. If it weren't for Hantaran and that Hantaron, or Hantaran 2, this system would have been garbage. Now it's not so trash. There's a lot of valuable planets that spawned in here, and then there's been a lot of nothing out here. Yeah, survey speed and auto exploration will be nice. Fuck yeah. Alright, see, now you go all the way down here and just keep this train going. Yeah. Yep.
System charted.
Yeah, that's... Civ works the same way. I just hate it. Because it used to be possible to sit in your home system and project your borders around enough systems around you to be kind of sustainable, but you cannot do a single system challenge very easily in this expansion. It's okay, it's just much more difficult. We have way too much food. I should take one of the robots apart and replace it with a person. I don't want to do that because the robots are pretty much just objectively better than people. God, I love how quickly they move through Class M systems because of this because of these bonuses, Class M systems basically turn into the equivalent of river systems or waterways or highways. Ships will move so quickly along those routes.
Anomaly detected.
It's very cool. And I haven't seen late game how emergent that the terrain is, but I'm feeling hopeful and kind of interested in it. So it's been an hour. I'm gonna keep streaming this, obviously, but if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you probably know the deal by now. This is going to be the end of it for today. There'll be more tomorrow. Till then, toodaloo, take care. I'll see you next time. Make sure to comment, share, like, subscribe, and... Is that all of them? That's all of them. I'm waking up still. Anyway, toodaloo, YouTube.